This is the Washington Times front page for Thursday, January 20th, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. President Biden has given up trying to get his Build Back Better plan approved by Congress, saying in a press conference to mark his first year in office he'd instead break up the legislation into smaller pieces to try and get some elements of it passed. Jeff Murdoch, Tom Howell, and Dave Boyer report the president said he hopes to still push forward this year with a portion of the bill, totaling roughly $500 billion for climate change and energy policies, as well as another piece for spending on early childhood education. Biden also suggested that he'll ditch, for now, a revival of an expanded child tax credit that expired this month and substantive aid for community college tuition. In the same press conference, the president said that Russia will pay a dear price if it takes military action against Ukraine. Dave Sands and Jeff Murdoch report Biden said he believes Russia is preparing to take action against Ukraine, though he doesn't think Russian President Vladimir Putin has decided what he will do. The president acknowledged that NATO countries are not entirely unified on how to respond to a Russian move short of war, but he said Russia risks freezing itself out of the international financial system if it takes further military action.
Russia will be held accountable if it invades, and it depends on what it does. It's one thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, etc. But if they actually do what they're capable of doing with the force amassed on the border, it is going to be a disaster for Russia.
As the president reaches the first anniversary of his inauguration, most Americans disapprove of the job he's done and say the nation is headed in the wrong direction. Dave Boyer reports Biden has the second lowest approval rating of any president at this point in his term, 42% in the Real Clear Politics average of polls. Only President Trump was lower, with an average of 40.1%. The COVID-19 pandemic is still not under control despite the president's fervent campaign promises, and the annual inflation rate has climbed to a 40-year high of 7%, among other hurdles that have hindered the White House. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. If you don't have access to the Times yet, you can visit WashingtonTimes.com/George for a special subscription offer. Pro-life activists expect higher enthusiasm and smaller crowds when the March for Life returns in person Friday to Washington. Sean Salai reports March organizers estimated about 50,000 participants in their application to the National Park Service for the rally after holding a virtual event last year. More than twice as many showed up for the 2020 event, which featured an address from then-President Trump. Organizers said the District of Columbia's requirement to present proof of vaccination against COVID-19 before entering public venues has forced them to make some schedule adjustments. And finally, Valerie Richardson has a look at the debate surrounding the use of personal pronouns. No part of speech has drawn more attention in recent years, as new ones have emerged for non-binary people. The Associated Press said in 2017 the plural pronoun they could be used for singular usage. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us on your favorite podcast platforms just by searching Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.